Chapter 1905. Jingyu, what are you doing now? Haven't you had enough? The beast tamer King Guguju looked at Fang Jingyu coldly. He didn't know why she was so insensible. He told her not to deal with Luo Qingtong first, but she didn't listen. Putting aside the fact that she almost killed him and the other higher-ups of the beast-taming King Valley, she even turned herself into such a monstrous monster. What was she doing now? Dark Elder. My daughter is mischievous, vicious, and vengeful. If she says anything to you, please don't listen. She's a lunatic. The beast tamer King Guguju said coldly. At this moment, he only felt disgust for this troublesome daughter of his. He didn't love her at all. She was too good at causing trouble. She kept ruining his plans. He would rather have never given birth to this daughter. Hearing his merciless words, Fang Jingyu's face turned pale. Her hatred for Luo Qingtong deepened. It's you. You're the one who caused me to be betrayed by everyone. I won't let you off. I'll expose your mask. I'll expose everything about you to everyone. When the time comes, I'll make everyone apologize to me. Dark Elder, kill her. She's night. Ignoring the beast tamer King Guguju, Fang Jingyu raised her hand and pointed at Luo Qingtong. Her face twisted with hatred, she said, I suspect that she's not a beast tamer. She's plotting to infiltrate our beast tamer valley and steal our secrets. Dark Elder, please investigate. If Dark Elder wanted to make a move on Luo Qingtong, he needed a legitimate reason. After all, Luo Qingtong was the business of the beast tamer valley outside. But now, the other party was in his scripture pavilion and wanted to enter to look at the original beast tamer arts manual. In that case, he had no choice but to take action and investigate properly. Hearing Fang Jingyu's words, the expressions of the higher-ups of the beast tamer valley changed. What was Fang Jingyu talking about? Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast tamer? How was that possible? She could control the silver fox and even their demon beasts. They saw it with their own eyes. Now she said she wasn't a beast tamer. Did he think that they were all blind? The upper echelons of the beast-taming King Valley had a cold expression on their faces, and the beast-taming King Valley's valley master directly shouted, Nonsense! What are you talking about? Get the hell out of here and don't make a fool of yourself here. Hearing Fang Jingyu's words, Luo Qingtong raised an eyebrow. Hers is she thought she's always. She. So this was the reason why he suspected her? Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. The emotions in her eyes quickly relaxed. She didn't forget to send a message to Yi Qianming. Look at that. You're such a failure as a contract beast. She actually suspects that I'm not a beast tamer. Little Silver, who was Yi Qianming, laid in her arms. He snorted coldly and didn't say anything. It was good enough that he was willing to become her contract beast. What more did she want? Chapter 1906. What do you have to say? Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. She calmly looked at Fang Jingyu and said, I just want to ask Miss Jingyu, how did she know that I'm not a beast tamer? So many people in the beast tamer valley couldn't tell, but Miss Jingyu did. I'm really very curious. Luo Qingtong's lips curved into a faint smile. When Fang Jingyu heard her calling her Miss Jingyu left and right, the expression in her eyes turned even colder and more sinister. This bitch, did she deliberately call her Miss Jingyu to despise her? Back then she was high and mighty, so she was naturally called Miss Jingyu. Now that she had fallen into the dust, this bitch still deliberately called her that. Fang Jingyu's expression was cold. She gritted her teeth and looked at Luo Qingtong. She habitually raised her head and said, Of course I saw through your flaws. Yun Yen said that you arrived at Wind City when we were recruiting new disciples, but you didn't register at the place where we were recruiting new disciples. Instead, you joined our Beast Tamer Valley when you were being hunted. After that, you exploded with a powerful Beast Tamer talent and potential. You said that you didn't know that you were a Beast Tamer before. Then let me ask you, since you were already in Wind City at that time, why didn't you test your Beast Tamer talent? Fang Jingyu sneered at Luo Qingtong. She raised her head high, looking extremely proud. She continued, even if you weren't interested. But what about this little fox? She pointed at Yi Qianming. Since you said that you grew up with it, you treated it like family. Why didn't you test your beast tamer talent? Let it have a closer relationship with you? Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and looked at Fang Jingyu. So it was because of this that she doubted her? Luo Qingtong chuckled. So it's because I'm too good to you. She transmitted her voice to Yi Qianming. It seems that if there's a next time, I'll have to torture you. Before she finished speaking, Yi Qianming's gaze had already turned to her. There's a next time? It coldly snorted. This time was enough. In the future, he would never indulge her. However, Yi Qianming didn't notice how many times he had said this. In the end, she was still spoiled. This was truly a frequent face-slapping. While the human and fox were interacting, Fang Jingyu's expression was extremely ugly. I'm talking to you, she said coldly. She couldn't wait to tear Luo Qingtong apart. Since you're not saying anything, does that mean you're admitting it yourself? You think too much. Luo Qingtong's lazy voice sounded at this time. She kissed the little fox in her arms and patted her little paw away. She said with a calm expression, Yun Yen and I have a grudge. I was the one who exposed her collusion with the Celestial Palace. How can I believe her words? Of course, she chuckled and looked at Fang Jingyu. You can say that she was wronged, just like how you said that I'm not a beast tamer. But the Valley Master and the others all know that I'm a beast tamer. You're the only one who says that I'm not. Don't you think it's ridiculous? At this moment, Luo Qingtong didn't hold back and showed her sharpness. But everyone knew that the hatred between her and Fang Jingyu had reached the point where they couldn't live. If she continued to be a yes man, it would be strange. Then do you dare to test your beast tamer talent? Chapter 1907. She firmly believed that Luo Qingtong had an ulterior motive for everything she had done. If that was the case, the other party would definitely not dare to test her beast-taming talent. Because from Fang Jingyu's point of view, the reason why Luo Qingtong pretended to be chased into beast-taming King Valley was because she had no beast-taming talent at all. She was a fake beast-taming master. If that was the case, then everything could be explained. The so-called valiant and powerful beast-taming art was actually a fake. Luo Qingtong only used a special method to cripple herself, and then let the demonic beasts in the beast garden counterattack. In order to not let others see through her, she deliberately pretended to faint. One had to say that Fang Jingyu still saw a part of the truth. However, she took the wrong path and guessed the wrong direction. The result could only be a tragedy in the end. All right. Luo Qingtong answered incomparably easily. Previously, she did not want to reveal that she had a contract and was very powerful, so she deliberately hid and entered beast-taming King Valley. Now that she had already been exposed, what was there to hide? Moreover, during this period of time in beast-taming King Valley, she already knew that the talent stone could see if a person was suitable to cultivate beast-taming arts and contract demonic beasts. Of course, those who had already contracted demonic beasts, needless to say, would definitely be revealed. But the specific level of the contract could not be seen. At most, it could see that you were very talented and very suitable. Since that was the case, then what was Luo Qingtong afraid of? If Fang Jingyu had used this to scare her, perhaps she would have been scared. As for now, Luo Qingtong smiled but did not say anything. You. Fang Jingyu looked at Luo Qingtong's incomparably calm appearance, and her heart was a little flustered. Could it be that she had guessed wrongly? Luo Qingtong was really a beast-taming master? Everything before was a coincidence, and what she thought was completely unfounded. How could it be like this? Things should not be like this. Fang Jingyu's heart was in a mess. In her view, the moment she said that Luo Qingtong was a fake beast-taming master, the other party should have been flustered. After she mentioned that she wanted to test her beast-taming talent, the other party should have been so flustered that she would kneel down and beg for mercy. But now, the one who was flustered was her. She was also the one who was about to panic. Take the talent stone. Beast-tamer King Guguju said coldly. Fang Jingyu ran to the Dark Elder to complain. Did she know how embarrassing it would be for her? In order to deal with Luo Qingtong, She really did everything she could to not let go of any loopholes. Since that was the case, he would fulfill her wish. Beast Tamer King Guguju had confidence in Luo Qingtong. Previously, the other party had intermittently demonstrated the beast taming technique in front of them. If the other party didn't have any beast taming talent, how could he possibly execute it? Only an idiot like Fang Jingyu, who didn't know anything, could come up with the idea that Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast tamer. Beast Tamer King Guguju wondered if he had been possessed in the past. He actually doted on such a person so much and loved her like a jewel. She couldn't believe that she had given birth to such a fool. He had even doted on her for so many years. The Beast Tamer King Guguju felt embarrassed just thinking about it. He directly asked someone to bring the talent stone. Luo Qingtong directly held the talent stone in her hand. In an instant, the talent stone blossomed with a dazzling white light, very suitable for cultivating the beast taming technique. The Dark Elder said at this time. He looked coldly at Fang Jingyu. What else do you have to say? Chapter 1908. The other party had come to complain to him, saying that Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast tamer and saying that Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest were fools who had been deceived by others. It was also because he didn't act impulsively. If he had really listened to her and captured Beast Tamer King Guguju when he brought Luo Qingtong here, then it would really be a joke. Not only that, the enmity between them and Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest was huge. Thinking of this, how could Elder and be nice to Fang Jingyu? Fang Jingyu's face was already ashen. She thought that she had caught Luo Qingtong's weakness, but in the end, it was just a joke. This girl had the talent of beast tamer. Didn't that mean that everything that had happened in the past was real? Her strong potential was real, and her powerful beast tamer's secret art was also real? Then what chance did she have? She would never have the chance to take revenge in this lifetime. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's body slid to the ground in despair, and she fainted just like that. Looking at her body on the ground, Elder An's expression still didn't improve. This time it's our fault. He looked at Beast Tamer King Guguju and said, You brought her here to observe the original Beast Tamer's secret art? Beast Tamer King Guguju nodded. Then you can go up. Elder An flicked his sleeves and said, Originally, it wouldn't be so easy for Luo Qingtong to enter the scripture depository. Even if Beast Tamer King Guguju had enough reasons, but the scripture depository was guarded by the Dark Group, so what he said might not be final. Moreover, even if Elder An agreed, he might not let Luo Qingtong enter the 12th floor where the original Beast Tamer's secret art was placed. Instead, he would let someone take the secret art. But now, because of this episode caused by Fang Jingyu, Elder An had done something unreasonable, so he couldn't stop Luo Qingtong anymore. And when Luo Qingtong found out that the original Beast Tamer secret art was placed on the 12th floor, the corners of her lips instantly twitched. To be honest, I'm starting to like Fang Jingyu. She whispered to Yi Qianming. This was true love for her. Every time he caused trouble, he would be a great help to her. If it weren't for Fang Jingyu, Luo Qingtong wouldn't have been able to get close to the book so quickly. He wouldn't be able to find and enter the scripture depository so quickly. Fang Jingyu was risking her life to help her. Luo Qingtong shook her head as she recalled the scene of an elder coldly ordering people to drag Fang Jingyu away. Yi Qianming was inexplicably angry. It suddenly stood up from Luo Qingtong's arms and pounced on her with quivering ears. This woman was asking for a lesson. What did she like? Who did she like? Hey. I was wrong. Don't. Luo Qingtong was pounced on by Yi Qianming. She laughed so hard that she couldn't breathe. Wasn't she just saying it casually? Metaphor. This man's jealousy was getting bigger and bigger. Fortunately, Yi Qianming knew that this wasn't the right place. He gritted his teeth and bit Luo Qingtong for a while before letting her go. Luo Qingtong quickly hugged him and coaxed him. The two fooled around as they went up to the 12th floor of the scripture depository. This place was only one floor away from Luo Qingtong's goal, the 13th floor. It was really convenient for Luo Qingtong. After Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others sent Luo Qingtong into her room, they retreated and waited outside. Chapter 1909. After they left, Luo Qingtong sized up the surrounding scene. This room seems to be used by the people of beast-taming King Valley to store secret manuals. Luo Qingtong looks at the rows of bookshelves standing against the wall, filling up the entire incomparably spacious room. In the middle of the room, there is an extremely long table. The kind that can seat more than a dozen people side by side. And right in front of the table, there were 4 cultivation technique manuals that were hung up facing each other. These 4 secret manuals are the beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley. They are of the same origin, but the effects of the manuals are not the same. The first one has the weakest effect. The second one is slightly stronger. Luo Qingtong's gaze swept over them one by one, discovering that the fourth one is the beast-taming art of beast-taming King Guguju's cultivation. Very obviously, its power and effect are stronger than the others. These 4 incantations were originally covered by a defensive barrier. Before the barrier is removed, there is no way to see the contents. But at this moment, these 4 manuals are all revealed in front of Luo Qingtong. It should be the instructions of beast-taming King Guguju and the others. These people really can't wait to get their hands on the beast-taming art that she obtained. Luo Qingtong's complexion is indifferent. She sweeps through the 4 manuals. After thinking for a bit, the blood-red light in the bottom of her eyes flickers. She makes a copy of them, imprinting them in her pupils. Although Luo Qingtong has the heaven and earth contract, she doesn't need the inhumane beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley. But there is no right or wrong manuals in this world. There are only people who use them wrongly. Killing with a sword is not a soldier's crime. Luo Qingtong thinks for a bit, but still memorizes these 4 manuals. What if there is some suitable place in the future where she can use them? If she can't use them, it's good to use them to cheat people. Luo Qingtong thinks about it and memorizes them. However, just as she was imprinting the spell formula into her pupils one by one, she suddenly noticed that something was amiss. Suddenly, Luo Qingtong discovers a surprising point. She stared in shock as the spells in her pupils overlapped one another. Then, one dot after another flashed in front of her eyes. It was indeed one point after another. These dots were scattered messily among the 4 cultivation methods, faintly outlining an indistinct outline. However, he couldn't see clearly what it was. There seemed to be something missing. Luo Qingtong looked surprised. She looked at this unexpected gain and decided to memorize it first. She would study it after leaving this place. She memorized the 4 incantations. Then, Luo Qingtong raised her eyes and glanced at the bookshelves in the room. She found that there were all kinds of precious cultivation methods, secret books, and combat skills of the Sage realm and above, as well as all kinds of cultivation experiences. There were people from the beast-taming King's Valley as well as people from other sections. It seemed like the people of the beast-taming King's Valley had plundered these treasures over the years. These were all good things from the top sects. Of course, if it wasn't good, it wouldn't have been placed here. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelves in the room, and the corners of her mouth hooked up in an instant. What her subordinates lacked the most was this kind of foundation. With the various cultivation methods, secret books, and combat skills here, there were also cultivation experiences. Not to mention other things, Su Yu and the others' combat strength could be increased by at least 5 times. In the future, the bottleneck problems encountered in cultivation would also be reduced a lot. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong directly waved her hand. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Countless books and picture books moved with the wind in an instant. They were constantly flipping in midair. The blood light in Luo Qingtong's eyes flickered, and countless characters flew and disappeared into her pupils. Chapter 1910. Yi Qianming was lying in Luo Qingtong's arms, looking at this scene with narrowed eyes. This woman's eye technique seemed to have strengthened again. After Yi Qianming knew that Luo Qingtong cultivated an eye technique, he had sent people to investigate the relevant information, but there was no result. He didn't know the origin of Luo Qingtong's eye technique. But according to this scene, it was also extraordinary. Fortunately, this woman knew how to hide her strength and bide her time. She didn't easily reveal it in front of others and was very restrained. Otherwise, who knew how much trouble it would cause? After Luo Qingtong copied all the books and picture books, she turned to look in the other direction of the room. Her eyes were like blood. In just an instant, they pierced through the ceiling and looked at the 13th floor. The entire room was like a 3D model, spinning rapidly in Luo Qingtong's eyes. She could see it clearly from all directions and angles. It was a very empty room. There was only a bookshelf in the middle of the room. But there was only one lattice inside. Luo Qingtong's eyes were fixed on that lattice. That lattice was very strange. You could see that there was a lattice on it. But when you stared at it, you would find that the lattice seemed to appear in your illusion. You couldn't see it, you couldn't touch it. It was specious. And this was in Luo Qingtong's eye technique. If it were someone else, they wouldn't even be able to see this lattice. They would only see the existence of a solid wood. Luo Qingtong looked at this strange lattice and raised her eyebrows. She knew that this was the secret lattice that the golden-winged condor had mentioned. Her eyes moved down and soon found the position of the 12th floor corresponding to the secret lattice. Swish! Luo Qingtong's figure swept over. At the same time, she raised her hands and waved fiercely. Two streams of energy shot out soundlessly, setting up a restriction array on the door of the 12th floor. The illusion formation was a type of bewildering formation. It could slightly obstruct the person who pushed the door open and entered. There was nothing wrong with letting the other party see the scene behind the door. At the same time, Luo Qingtong was also alerted. If there were no major accidents, she should be able to rush back in time and deceive them. After Luo Qingtong was done, she leaped forward. Qianming. She looked down at the silver fox in her arms and whispered, "Can I borrow your claws?" With Yi Qianming's strength, the silver fox's claws were the sharpest weapon in the world. Under such circumstances, Luo Qingtong didn't need to think of other ways to destroy it. Yi Qianming snorted and nodded. He tried his best not to make a sound. That little fox's voice was simply too intoxicating. Wait a moment. Let me find a few key points first. Luo Qingtong wanted to go from the 12th floor to the 13th floor. Naturally, she could only break through the ceiling between the two floors. But the entire 13th floor of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was a hole. In this Hidden Scriptures Pavilion, there were countless arrays inside and outside. Triggering a layer of restriction was equivalent to triggering the alarm of the entire Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. This way, before Luo Qingtong could enter the 13th floor, she would be exposed. Therefore, she couldn't be reckless. Fortunately, Luo Qingtong used to do this in the past. Chapter 1911. One had to know that although her eye technique was at its peak at that time, it was better than now. But her physical fitness and strength were far inferior to her in this strange world. Therefore, it was more difficult for her to enter Area 51 than it was for her here. Buzz. The eye technique in Luo Qingtong's eyes kept spinning. From small to big, then to the entire Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Luo Qingtong's eyes saw through this huge Hidden Scriptures Pavilion inside and out. She carefully calculated the position of the ceiling where she was and made all kinds of gestures. Yi Qianming watched as she drew one image after another in front of him. She marked the numbers one by one and then quickly erased them. He felt that it was novel and strange. What were these things? After Luo Qingtong used various methods to calculate the space and distance, she quickly found a few points to start from. Here, Qianming. Luo Qingtong raised her hand and used her strength to accurately circle a few points in the air. Then she said to Yi Qianming, "Remove the things in this circle." Yi Qianming looked at the few points that Luo Qingtong had circled. The biggest one was not even the size of a fist. He frowned. How could this woman crawl through such a small circle? Also, why did she make so many? Luo Qingtong saw that he was sizing her up and hurriedly said, "Don't be stingy." She just happened to draw the points on the restriction array, which was the most accurate result. This man better not do bad things for her. In fact, Yi Qianming really did have that idea. But at this moment, he glanced at the girl's nervous gaze and snorted coldly. He would never admit that he almost did that. Ow! Got it. Pa pa pa. Yi Qianming's little fox cry sounded. In an instant, The things in the few points that Luo Qingtong had drawn were cleanly dug out by Yi Qianming. The wind from his claws was sharp. In the blink of an eye, it pierced through the floor between the two floors, but it retracted just as it was about to pierce through. In terms of control over power, Yi Qianming was a natural king. He was not inferior to Luo Qingtong in terms of control over eye techniques. All right. Luo Qingtong chuckled and kissed the silver fox in her arms. Then, she raised her hand and pressed down on a certain spot on the ceiling above her head. With Luo Qingtong's strength, in an instant, the ceiling area surrounded by several points is broken. Under Yi Qianming's surprised gaze, the door opened slightly, revealing a small space that was big enough for Luo Qingtong to enter alone. The small holes that Luo Qingtong had made it dig all over the place had inexplicably gathered together under Luo Qingtong's rotation, forming such a space. How did he do it? Yi Qianming was shocked. He clearly did not see Luo Qingtong use any of the array's power. And the array's power in the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was 1. Destroying one would affect all of them. Chapter 1912. It's here. Luo Qingtong's face was facing the hidden compartment. However, after Luo Qingtong jumped up, she discovered that this hidden compartment was different from what she had seen before. Or, the entire bookshelf was different from what she had seen before with her dojutsu. At this moment, the bookshelf that Luo Qingtong saw with her normal eyes was a normal bookshelf filled with grids. It was full of things. The brilliance was extraordinary, and it seemed that all of them were treasures. On the contrary, the hidden compartment that Luo Qingtong had seen before was gone. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelf, narrowed her eyes slightly, and then activated her dojutsu again. At this moment, under her gaze, the bookshelf returned to its original state of having only one compartment. And that hidden compartment was also clearly visible. Interesting. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelf and laughed. She raised her eyebrows, and was already sure that this bookshelf must be an illusion treasure. So the appearance of this bookshelf was completely different in her eyes. Those dazzling things were all fake. If she really touched those things or wanted to take them away, then she would immediately trigger the array and alarm. And that hidden compartment, ordinary people couldn't see it. Interesting, the people of the beast-taming King Valley hid this so tightly? Luo Qingtong smiled and approached the hidden compartment. She didn't know what else was recorded in that booklet besides those secret things. Luo Qingtong opened the hidden compartment according to the method taught by the golden-winged condor. Originally, without the method taught by the golden-winged condor, Luo Qingtong would have needed a lot of time to open this hidden compartment. After all, she still had to crack it. This time, she saved a lot of time. After the hidden compartment was opened, Luo Qingtong directly took out the booklet. The cover of the booklet was engraved with the words, "Holy Booklet," and the rest was blank. Unexpectedly, there were only a few pages below it. Luo Qingtong originally thought that this booklet would record who knows how many years of the beast-taming King Valley, and that it would be very thick. She didn't expect that it was really just a booklet. Luo Qingtong's head was full of black lines. How many things could be recorded in just a few pages? Oh my, could it be that she had inquired wrongly from the beginning? Luo Qingtong felt a little regretful. However, the thing was already in her hands, it would be a waste not to look at it. Luo Qingtong was slightly depressed as she opened the booklet. When she flipped open the book, her mind shook violently. She was drawn into a mysterious space. One after another appeared in front of her eyes, like the Milky Way hanging in the sky, hanging in front of her. The rows of words seemed endless. This is... Luo Qingtong was stunned when she saw these words. It's the book space. Yi Qianming's figure appeared beside her. This would mean that he was in human form. After all, it was mental power that entered the book space. Yi Qianming wasn't a real fox. His figure appeared here. Naturally, he was in human form. Qianming, you're here too? Luo Qingtong saw his figure appear, and her eyes lit up instantly. The man nodded, and then looked at the words hanging down. I didn't expect the people of the beast-taming King Valley to have such a book space. They should have obtained this booklet in the land of the fallen immortals. Well, how do I use this? Chapter 1913. Since Yi Qianming was here, she wouldn't use her blood eye to check. She had consumed enough today, so she would save as much as she could. If you want to check something, just call me. Yi Qianming said and called out to the space, Luo Jinghong. As his voice rang out, the words hanging in front of him, like a waterfall, all spun quickly in an instant. One after another, streams of light shot up. In the next second, these streams of light flew towards Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianming. They circled around Yi Qianming and kept circling him. Above the sky, a scene suddenly appeared. A man wearing a bamboo hat and green clothes was forced to the land of the deceased immortals by a group of people from the beast-taming valley. Luo Jinghong, surrender to our beast-taming valley and hand over your beast-taming method, and we can spare your life. The elder of the beast-taming valley who was standing at the front said. Luo Qingtong glanced at him and found that she didn't know him. It was clear that this person was either unlucky enough to die, or he was in seclusion in beast-taming King's Valley and became a grand elder. Luo Qingtong glanced at the group of people who were chasing Luo Jinghong and found that the beast-taming King Guguju and several other elders she had seen before were among them. They were following behind the elders to besiege Luo Jinghong. Luo Qingtong's eyes were slightly cold, and then she turned her gaze to Luo Jinghong in front of her. It was really beyond her expectations to be able to turn books into paintings in this book space. She stared at Luo Jinghong. When he was forced to fly into the land of the deceased immortals, she immediately saw the face hidden under his bamboo hat. Handsome and cold, with sword-like eyebrows. Bastards of the beast-taming valley. If I can come back alive in the future, I will kill all of you. The bamboo hat on Luo Jinghong's head flew up and was split in half in an instant. Then his figure flew into the land of the deceased immortals. Come back alive? Just wait to die in there. Luo Qingtong heard the elder leading the team to chase Luo Jinghong say coldly. After that, the beast-taming King's Valley's men stayed there for 7 days before they all retreated. So it was done by the beast-taming King's Valley. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. She had indeed found the right enemy. But Luo Jinghong's life and death, Luo Qingtong frowned. If Luo Jinghong really died, Grandpa and Grandma would be heartbroken. She furrowed her brows and memorized the location of the fallen immortal land. I'll look for it when it's time to enter. No matter what, she would not jump to conclusions without seeing the corpse. As for his grandparents, it was better not to tell them for the time being. It was better for them to think that Luo Jinghong was missing than to worry about whether he was dead or alive. Chapter 1914. Luo Qingtong thought about it and immediately turned her head. Like Yi Qianming, she shouted at the hanging handwriting, beast-taming art. She silently chanted in her heart to investigate. Soon, a stream of light flew over. Then, a scene appeared beside Luo Qingtong. In a desolate land shrouded in black fog, a man carefully entered a cave in a valley. After an unknown period of time, he suddenly dashed out of the cave with his arms and legs flailing about. Ha! Beast-taming art. I can tame beasts. Ha! In this world, no one can stop my rise. Then, that man controlled the demonic beast to run rampant in the hidden world, opening the door and establishing a sect. The name of beast-taming King Valley quickly spread. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. So the beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley was obtained in the fallen immortal land? While she was thinking, she saw another disciple of beast-taming King Valley enter the cave in the valley. This time, he returned empty-handed. But in the next scene, another disciple of beast-taming King Valley took out a beast-taming art and ran out. Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. The 4 beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley were all obtained from this cave in the valley? Luo Qingtong was thinking. Sure enough, every time the people of beast-taming King Valley entered the hidden world, they would go to that valley. The most recent time was last year. But after obtaining the 4 beast-taming art, they didn't get anything else. The people of beast-taming King Valley were so persistent. Could it be that there was something in the valley? As Luo Qingtong thought about it, she memorized the terrain of the cave. When she entered the fallen immortal land, she also wanted to go in and take a look. She wanted to see what the people of beast-taming King Valley couldn't forget. While Luo Qingtong was memorizing the terrain, in the corridor of the room on the 12th floor, beast-taming King Guguju suddenly remembered something. This time, something happened in the beast garden. I will record this matter in the holy book. I'll go and register first. You guys continue to guard night eye here. All right. The upper echelons of the beast-taming King's Valley responded. What happened in the beast garden was indeed a big deal. None of them had ever seen such a collective backlash from their contracted beasts. In particular, the ones who suffered the backlash were all the contract beasts of these high-level elders. This incident should indeed be recorded in the Saint Book. After the beast-tamer King Guguju finished his instructions, he turned around and went up the stairs to the 13th floor. After Luo Qingtong memorized the beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley, she took the opportunity to investigate the various major events in the hidden world as well as the situation in beast-taming King Valley. She directly called the year. Then, all the major events of the year in this book space were presented in front of Luo Qingtong. TSK, the people from beast-taming King's Valley have done too many immoral things. The previous palace lord of the Celestial Palace was seriously injured and fell into a latrine pit and drowned? Luo Qingtong looked at these strange and indignant news. At this time, beast-taming King Guguju had already reached the 13th floor stairs. There's actually news about the Grand Principal? Luo Qingtong blinked her eyes and saw the two words, Zhu Yi, in front of her. Isn't that the name of the Grand Principal? Chapter 1915. Suddenly, Yi Qianming's eyes narrowed. Someone is coming. Yi Qianming's consciousness was not as sensitive as usual in this book space. But with his powerful spiritual sense, he still sensed it when beast-tamer King Guguju approached the door. Let's go! Yi Qianren abruptly pulled Luo Qingtong and the two of them disappeared from the book space. Crack! When Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianming's consciousness returned to their bodies, the sound of the door opening could be heard. Luo Qingtong's eyes narrowed slightly. She raised her hand and put the book back to its original position. Then she restored everything to its original state. Her movements were extremely fast. With the support of Blood Eye, she completed all this in an instant. Then she carried Silver Bow and jumped into the floor space that she opened before. When Luo Qingtong opened the floor space, she had already considered the possibility that someone might suddenly come in. Therefore, the floor space was arranged behind the bookshelf. It was blocked by the bookshelf. People outside would not be able to see this hole after coming in. They had to get closer. And this little bit of time was enough for Luo Qingtong to restore the floor space. Swish! Luo Qingtong's figure swept into the floor space. At the same time, beast-tamer King Guguju's figure also appeared in the room. His expression narrowed. Beast-tamer King Guguju had a very strange feeling. It seemed that someone had been in this room before him. But when he glanced at the decorations and arrays around him, he did not think too much about it. He walked straight to the bookshelf in the middle of the room. And after Luo Qingtong swept into the floor space, she also prepared to restore the space. But just as she was about to move, a small paw pressed on the floor area of the space faster than her, and then copied her previous actions and rotated the floor area. The movement was very accurate. The position was also very accurate. The direction and angle of the rotation were also not much different from her previous movements. But the restoration of space had to be done in reverse. What a scam! Luo Qingtong stared blankly as Yi Qianxian's little paw completely turned the floor around. Rumble! As Yi Qianxian's claws pressed against the floor space, it rotated. In an instant, the floor space above Luo Qingtong's head fell down. If it was rotated in the wrong direction, it would not be restored, but dismantled. Luo Qingtong didn't even have time to save him. She watched as the space floorboard fell to the ground with a loud boom. Yi Qianxian's pair of adorable foxy eyes met hers, as if he had no idea what was going on. The confusion in his eyes were very obvious. He was obviously asking Luo Qingtong, "What's going on?" He clearly followed Luo Qingtong's movements. But Luo Qingtong found it difficult to answer him. How was she going to explain to him the science of space folding in the 24th century? Luo Qingtong felt her balls hurt. Not only her balls hurt, but also her stomach, chest, and stomach hurt. Let's run first. The corner of her lips twitched as she decisively carried Yi Qianren and rushed out. Boom! Chapter 1916. It was the beast tamer King Guguju who heard the commotion and immediately rushed over. His figure flashed and in an instant he passed through the space that Luo Qingtong dug out and appeared in the room on the 12th floor. Knight, it's you? His face was filled with shock and anger. The higher-ups of the Beast Tamer Valley who were waiting outside also heard the commotion and rushed in. What's going on? They looked at the scene in the room with shock. There was a big hole in the ceiling. The Beast Tamer King Guguju, who was supposed to be recording things on the 13th floor, appeared on the 12th floor. What's going on? They looked at the Beast Tamer King Guguju. The latter looked at Luo Qingtong, who was holding the little fox, with shock and anger. Knight, why did you sneak into the forbidden area on the 13th floor? What's your purpose for sneaking into our Beast Tamer Valley? The Beast Tamer King Guguju was not stupid. The moment he saw Luo Qingtong, he understood everything. Luo Qingtong entered the Beast Tamer Valley for another purpose. She deliberately snuck into their Beast Tamer Valley. She was hunted down and exposed her powerful Beast Tamer spell. She even lured them to the scripture pavilion step by step. She had other motives. Jingyu had been right all along. His face was filled with shock and anger. The upper echelons of the Beast Taming King's Valley were shocked as well. Luo Qingtong actually snuck into the 13th floor. She came here to enter the forbidden area on the 13th floor. Knight, what are you trying to do? What's your purpose for sneaking into our Beast Tamer Valley? The crowd scolded her harshly. The crowd was agitated. Their faces were ugly. The higher-ups of a first-rate sect, the absolute powerhouses, were deceived by a little girl. They even saw her as the future hope of their sect. The higher-ups of the Beast Tamer Valley instantly felt like they were cursed. They looked at Luo Qingtong angrily. The ferocious look on his face was as if he wanted to tear her apart alive. Luo Qingtong looked at them and chuckled. Since she had already been exposed, there was no need for her to hide her aura any longer. The girl's expression was indifferent. The smile on his lips was like the blooming of a devil's snare flower in the deepest purgatory. It was full of evil, wild, and enchanting, like a demon and a poison. At this moment, Luo Qingtong's face was disguised, but it didn't affect the aura around her. Indeed, as you can see, I'm here for the things on the 13th floor. As for why I'm here, don't you already know? Her expression was indifferent, and her smile was enchanting. The corners of his lips curled up slightly. Holy Book. Her red lips parted slightly as she spat out these two words. In an instant, the Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest of the upper echelons of the Beast Tamer King Valley paled. Holy Book! The Beast Tamer King Guguju gritted his teeth and looked at Luo Qingtong. He said coldly, "Bitch, you've already seen the Holy Book." His tone was certain. Luo Qingtong must have seen the Holy Book. Otherwise, she wouldn't know the name of the Holy Book. Bastard! The Beast Tamer King Guguju, who thought he had stopped her in time and didn't make a big mistake, was instantly furious. Chapter 1917. There's no need to talk so much with her. Elder N's voice was cold. If we kill her, no one will know about the Saint Book. He looked at Luo Qingtong's direction with murderous intent surging in his eyes. She actually entered the 13th floor under his nose and peeked at the contents of the Holy Book. She must die. At this moment, Elder N's heart was filled with anger. They had been guarding this place for a long time and had never made a mistake. But now, someone had peeked at the Holy Book in his hands. This was a disgrace that must be washed away. After his voice sounded, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others nodded with a solemn face. That's right, Luo Qingtong must die. And before she dies, they will make her explain what the beast-taming art in her body is and whether it's real or fake. Do it. Their voices were cold. Don't kill her first. We still need to find out the secret in her body. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others waved their hands. In an instant, the group of Beast Tamer Valley disciples rushed towards Luo Qingtong. Boom boom boom. The group's aura was biting cold and their aura was unstoppable, constantly cutting the surrounding air. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others watched from the side with a solemn face. They raised their hands and released their aura, enveloping the many bookshelves and books in the 12th floor. There were also 4 beast-taming arts hanging in front of the room, so that these things wouldn't be damaged in the battle. Thinking that Luo Qingtong had seen all these things and that they had personally led her up, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others felt a burst of anger in their hearts. Their gaze towards Luo Qingtong became even colder and more murderous. This bitch, when I catch her, I will let her know the price of deceiving us. Beast Tamer King Guguju suppressed the anger in his heart and coldly looked at Luo Qingtong's figure floating in the air. The other party dared to treat them like fools. The Beast Tamer King Guguju's expression was extremely solemn. On the other hand, Luo Qingtong watched as the Beast-Taming King's Valley's disciples surrounded her. She raised an eyebrow and stood there motionlessly. Boom! Just as those people's attacks were about to hit her and trap her in the net, Luo Qingtong's body suddenly emitted rays of silver light. In her arms, Yi Qianxian was completely enveloped in a ball of silver light. Then, the ball of silver light continued to expand until it enveloped her entire body. In the next second, the silver light shattered. Bang! Yi Qianxian appeared beside Luo Qingtong with a wave of his sleeve. Boom! The attacks that were aimed at her and tried to envelop her were all shattered by the man's sleeves. Countless energy shockwaves shot out from the collision. The disciples of the Beast-Taming King's Valley who had launched their attacks were instantly sent flying back with miserable shrieks. Bang! 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 Their figures fiercely smashed onto the floor. Some people directly flew out of the scripture pavilion. Some people even fell from the 12th floor to the 11th or even the 10th floor. What? Chapter 1918. They didn't think that Yi Qianxian was actually the Silver Fox. They thought that he had been hiding in Beast-Taming King Valley for a long time, hiding beside Luo Qingtong and following them into the scripture pavilion. Damn it! We've really let the wolf into our house. Elder Dark's expression was unusually solemn. His expression was extremely ugly. The other party had snuck into the secret place without them noticing. If it wasn't for the fact that Luo Qingtong had snuck into the 13th floor and was discovered, would the other party have been hiding in the Beast-Taming King's Valley the entire time? Would the Beast-Taming King's Valley have been wiped out without them knowing? Thinking of this, everyone in Beast-Taming King Valley shuddered. They looked at Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian with murderous intent. Let's attack together, don't hold back. Elder Dark's voice was cold. The other party has peeked at the Saint Book and snuck into the secret place. I'm sure they want to harm our Beast-Taming King Valley. If we hold back now, there will be endless trouble in the future. We must kill them all here. As he spoke, the cold light in his eyes intensified and became extremely cold. Beast-Taming King Guguju and the others heard this. Although they were very unwilling, they knew that this was the best way. They couldn't put the entire Beast-Taming King Valley in danger just for the beast-taming technique in Luo Qingtong's body. Not to mention other things, just Yi Qianxian's strength was enough to make them feel a strong sense of danger. Bang! Everyone attacked at the same time, attacking Yi Qianxian. The man's eyes were heavy and his expression was cold. His wide black robe fluttered in the air as he raised his hand to protect Luo Qingtong in his arms. Then he shook his sleeves and in an instant, the aura around him exploded. He charged towards Beast-Taming King Guguju and the others and clashed fiercely. Yi Qianxian's aura was strong and his aura was biting cold. With a wave of his sleeve and a raise of his hand, he blocked the attacks of Beast-Taming King Guguju and the others. Beast-Taming King Guguju and the others had the advantage in numbers. The entire Beast-Taming King Valley's top experts were here. Otherwise, if they were alone, they would have been killed by Yi Qianxian. Bang! Elder Dark's palm was pushed back by Yi Qianxian's palm. He spat a mouthful of blood and looked at Yi Qianxian's direction with a ruthless and cold expression. Force him out. They weren't his opponent. Elder Dark had to admit this point. Damn it. Where did the other party come from? How's his strength so? Elder's face. The beast-taming King Valley's Valley Master and the others didn't look any better. When they attacked just now, they thought that with their lineup and strength, it would be easy to deal with Yi Qianxian. But who would have thought that the opponent's strength was so strong that it exceeded their expectations? There were so many of them, but they couldn't do anything to him. Although they were beast-taming masters, they weren't pure cultivators. Their strength was slightly weaker than cultivators of the same level. But with his cultivation, how bad could it be? In the end, they couldn't do anything to him. If it weren't for the fact that they had so many people, there would have been casualties. Their faces were solemn. When they heard Elder An's words, they immediately flew out and charged into Yi Qianren's arms. Chapter 1919. The girl was tightly protected by Yi Qianxian and wasn't the least bit disturbed by the attacks outside. Seeing the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others attacking Luo Qingtong, Yi Qianxian's eyes turned cold as he waved his sleeves to block their attacks. However, at that moment, he was knocked flying by the enormous power that they had gathered. The man's body deflected the force, and in an instant, he glided backward gracefully like a butterfly. Boom! Yi Qianxian appeared outside the scripture pavilion. At this moment, the Dark Elder yelled out, "Activate the protective formation. Summon your contracted beasts." As soon as his voice rang out, the beast-taming King's Valley's Dark Department that was in charge of guarding the scripture depository immediately moved. The scripture pavilion shone brightly. In an instant, the protective formation of the entire beast-tamer valley was activated. The protective formation of the scripture pavilion could be activated in an instant. Rays of light shone brightly in the sky. Streams of tyrannical and terrifying power gathered above the formation. It emitted an extremely powerful aura. The aura condensed within it was as heavy as water, with the momentum of wind and rain, and the ability to suppress the clouds. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, countless lightning bolts and fiery colors gathered. Long dragons burst forth and swam in all directions. At the Dark Elder's command, the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others immediately summoned their contracted beasts. The formation in the Beast Garden sensed the summons of the beast-tamer valley members and immediately opened its fences and barriers. The Saint Venerables in the top-grade Beast Garden were all controlled by the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others, and they flew out of the Beast Garden. After sensing the control of the beast-tamer King Guguju, the golden-winged eagle struggled for a moment before its eyes were completely covered by the color of blood. Boom! The feathers on its body unfurled as it flapped its wings. In the blink of an eye, it was already flying towards the secret grounds behind the beast-taming King's Valley. A group of holy venerate demonic beasts followed behind it. Like the golden-winged eagle, they struggled for a moment before being controlled by their respective beast-tamers and flew toward the secret area. Everyone in the beast-taming King's Valley didn't know what was going on as they watched the shocking scene unfold before them. Quick! Heavens! The elders and valley masters' contracted beasts are all moving out. Oh my God! What's going on? Is someone attacking our beast-tamer valley? The beast-tamer valley's disciples were shocked. All the disciples in the beast-taming King's Valley were dumbstruck by this scene. Oh my God! They've never seen anything like this before. All the elders of the beast-taming King Valley and even the Valley Lord's contracted beast were mobilized. Didn't that mean that the person they were fighting was so strong that the Valley Master and the others couldn't beat him, so they had to call for reinforcements? Everyone watched in shock as the contracted beasts flew toward the secret area behind the beast-tamer valley. They didn't know what was going on. In the scripture pavilion, Fang Jingyu also felt the changes outside. She was currently locked up in the Dark Department's prison cell. Chapter 1920. Between heaven and earth, a man as handsome as a god stood in the air. His aura surged like a dragon, tyrannical and wanton. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and his sleeves fluttered, but he was carefully protecting a young girl in his arms. Her father joined forces with a group of beast-taming King Valley's high-level elders and the elders of the Dark Department, but they couldn't do anything to him. Fang Jingyu's face was filled with astonishment. She looked at the man in the sky, wondering when such an outstanding man had appeared in the hidden world. And she didn't seem to have heard of him at all. She didn't even look at him. Fang Jingyu stared infatuatedly at Yi Qianxian's perfect, handsome face. It was as cold and dignified as an evildoer's, cold and icy face. Especially when he lowered his head to look at the young girl in his arms, Fang Jingyu's heart was filled with jealousy. What kind of person could receive his care and affection? So careful and so affectionate? She looked enviously at the young girl in his arms. When she saw the other's face clearly, Fang Jingyu's fingernails dug into her palms. She didn't even feel the blood dripping from her palms. It's actually her? She couldn't restrain herself from shrieking. She couldn't control the hatred and anger in her heart. How could it be her? How could it be her? If it weren't for the fact that she couldn't get out of the prison cell, Fang Jingyu would have rushed out immediately. She couldn't believe her eyes at all. That young girl in the arms of that godlike man, who was carefully protecting her, was actually the person she hated the most. Night Eye! She screamed sharply. She didn't know why all the good things fell on the other party. She was harmed by the other party, but the other party was carefully protected in the arms of that indescribably handsome man. Fang Jingyu's face twisted. However, she quickly came to her senses. Wasn't Luo Qingtong highly valued by her father and the others? For the sake of the secret art on her, they almost didn't even want their own daughter. But now they wanted to surround and kill her? Fang Jingyu became happy as she thought about it. She looked at the light of the great mountain protection array that was gathering above Yi Qianren's head. In the beast-taming King Valley, the 108 defensive formations were connected to one another, resonating with one another. When all of them were stacked together, their power was astonishing. Furthermore, breaking one Dao was not enough to break the formation. They had to break through all 108 formations before they could break through the entire mountain-protecting Grand Array. This black-robed man's strength was tyrannical, and presumably he would not be harmed by this mountain-protecting Grand Array. But Luo Qingtong might not be the same. What's more, her father and his men were there to support her. How could Luo Qingtong not die? Chapter 1921. This was also the reason why the golden-winged condors hated the beast-tamer King's Valley. Because the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others had never treated them as companions. Nor did they treat them as living beings. Boom! As the group of demon beasts arrived, the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others immediately dispersed, allowing the paragon demon beasts to attack Yi Qianxian. In the sky, the streams of energy danced like dragons and snakes. They were waiting for the right time to finish brewing before they came crashing down. Yi Qianxian's eyes narrowed. The protective mountain array was not much of a threat to him, but Luo Qingtong, who was in his arms, could not withstand the power of the protective mountain array. Moreover, there was still this group of paragon demon beasts. Yi Qianxian frowned as he watched the group of paragon demon beasts surrounding him. As for the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others, they had retreated to a distance and started attacking after the golden-winged condors and the others arrived. At this moment, Yi Qianren was facing twice or even 3 times the number of attacks from before. His eyes darkened. In the depths of his body, a terrifying and violent energy that was so strong that it could destroy the world was surging in his dantian, but he couldn't use it. His meridians could not withstand it. Every time Yi Qianxian used his power, it was precisely at the point where his meridians could withstand it. Only by not using too much power could he ensure that his meridians could last for a period of time. But at this moment, he was already considering whether to use this power, even if the price he had to pay would be the price of his previous 3 years of life. As Yi Qianxian's eyes narrowed, Luo Qingtong frowned as she watched the demon beasts surrounding Yi Qianxian and herself. She had only been able to find the book with the help of the golden-winged condors. The other paragon demon beasts were also very friendly to her. At this moment, They were clearly being controlled by beast tamer King Guguju and the others. Luo Qingtong did not want to fight with them. Qianren, hold them back for now. Don't hurt them. I'll break this protective formation, Luo Qingtong said to Yi Qianxian. You can crack it? Yi Qianxian looked at Luo Qingtong. This protective mountain array was extraordinarily powerful. Yi Qianxian knew that Luo Qingtong's blood-red eyes were not ordinary. However, the array was so complicated. Would she be able to break it in a short period of time? If he couldn't, he might not be able to protect her without hurting the golden-winged condor and the other beasts. Yi Qianxian had to get to the bottom of this. Nothing was more important to him than Luo Qingtong. If Luo Qingtong's answer was not positive, he would not listen to her. Sure. Luo Qingtong nodded. She naturally had no confidence in cracking it on the spot. Even if Yi Qianxian did not say anything, she would not take the risk. However, before Luo Qingtong entered Beast Tamer King's Valley, she had analyzed this protective formation. Under such circumstances, she only needed to spend a bit of time to break all the formations. At that time, this protective formation would definitely be broken. Okay. Yi Qianxian nodded and did not say anything else. He only focused on dealing with the attacks of the demon beasts and beast tamer King Guguju and the others. Because he did not want to hurt the golden-winged condor and the others, the pressure he faced increased sharply. Beast tamer King Guguju and the others saw this scene from afar and immediately sneered. He can't hold on any longer. That's right. Look at him. Is he reluctant to attack the golden-winged condor and the others? Chapter 1922. This slut. He looked at Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian's arms, and his eyes were cold and full of killing intent. All day long, he was blinded by the wild goose pecking at his eyes. Beast Tamer King Guguju originally wanted to find out the origin and cultivation method of Luo Qingtong's Beast Tamer's secret art from her. But he didn't expect that he would be tricked by Luo Qingtong in the end. Thinking of how he asked her about her well-being and acted submissive in front of her, his eyes couldn't help but turn red. This slut, she actually dared to play with him like this. When this man couldn't hold on anymore, he'd see how she died. Beast Tamer King Guguju looked at Luo Qingtong with cold eyes, full of killing intent. Luo Qingtong was quickly breaking the array on top of the mountain protecting Great Array. These array formations were stacked layer upon layer, 108 of them, one after another, one after another. Each array formation existed independently, but it was also interlinked with the other arrays. Breaking them was not an ordinary kind of complicated. However, Luo Qingtong had already thoroughly analyzed these array formations when she entered Beast Tamer King Valley. Now, even if it was combined with the other arrays, Luo Qingtong would only need to spend a little more effort to break it. Boom boom boom. While Luo Qingtong was breaking the array formations, the golden-winged condor and the other beasts were also crazily attacking under the command of Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others. Because they urgently wanted Luo Qingtong to die, they simply didn't care about the losses of the golden-winged condor and the other demonic beasts. To Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others, Luo Qingtong was the witness of their humiliation, and also the person who peeped at their secrets. They must kill her. Under the control of Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others, the golden-winged condor and the other demonic beasts were constantly closing in on Yi Qianxian's defenses. Step by step, they were closing in on Yi Qianxian and Luo Qingtong, who were surrounded by them. Quickly, go! The golden-winged condor regained some of its consciousness for a moment. Seeing Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian being surrounded by them, it immediately struggled to speak to them. However, its own behavior was completely uncontrollable. Even when it spoke, it didn't hesitate to attack Yi Qianxian and Luo Qingtong. However, this recovery of consciousness was only a temporary thing. In just an instant, the trace of clarity in its eyes disappeared without a trace once again. Peng peng peng. The group of demonic beasts approached within 10 meters of Yi Qianren. Luo Qingtong, and Luo Qingtong, Qingtong, Luo Qingtong, Qingtong, Luo Qingtong? Bitch. Bitches, just wait for your deaths. As they spoke, They looked at Luo Qingtong, who was in Yi Qianren's arms viciously. They concentrated their attacks on her again. While their contracted beasts were restraining that man, they wanted to kill him. That was what the higher-ups of Beast Tamer King's Valley were thinking. They rushed over with majestic momentum. At this moment, Luo Qingtong opened her eyes. Her eyes were bloodshot and as enchanting as a demon. "You want me to die?" Luo Qingtong looked at Beast Tamer King Guguju and Luo Qingtong. Her lips curled up. "Wait and see if you'll have the chance in your next life." Qingtong raised her hand and pointed at a certain point in the sky. "Qianren, break through there." Boom. Chapter 1923. In just an instant, the huge formation that enveloped the secret ground behind the mountain was blasted to pieces. Countless energy shot out. The energy that had been brewing in the formation, waiting for a thunderous strike, also burst out in an instant. Rumble! The entire back mountain was ravaged by the violent and wanton power of the formation. What? Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others, who thought Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian were dead for sure, widened their eyes when they saw this scene. The look in their eyes was indescribably inconceivable. The great protective mountain formation was broken. How is this possible? The Dark Elder cried out involuntarily. The 108 formations in this great protective mountain formation were closely connected. Even if they were familiar with the formation, they couldn't break it in such a short time. How did Luo Qingtong do it? Their faces were filled with bewilderment. At this time, Luo Qingtong had already been lifted up by Yi Qianxian. The two figures penetrated the violent storm formed in front of them. Luo Qingtong looked back, looked at the people of Beast Tamer King's Valley below, and said coldly, "One day, Beast Tamer King's Valley will be destroyed." If it weren't for the fact that the golden-winged condor and the others were still being controlled by the people of Beast Tamer King's Valley, Luo Qingtong didn't want to hurt them. The people of Beast Tamer King's Valley definitely wouldn't have it easy today. She would definitely find a way to break the contract with the Beast Tamer King's Valley. At that time, She would make everyone in Beast Tamer King's valley fall from heaven to the bottom of the valley. Let's see how long they could maintain their insufferably arrogant and domineering attitude. Just because of a disagreement, they wanted to seize other people's cultivation methods and force them to submit. Luo Qingtong would let them taste the feeling of being suppressed by others in the future. Qianren, let's go. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold. After saying this, she instantly raised her hand. In an instant, a ray of light swept out from her hand and rushed towards the broken formation behind them. In an instant, the power of the shattered spirit array seemed to be controlled by some invisible force. The attacks that were originally scattered in all directions were suddenly directed towards Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others who were about to give chase. The power bypassed the demonic beasts under his control and blasted towards Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others. The latter and the others could not react in time. Who would have thought that the shattering power that had been rampaging through the mystic realm would suddenly strike them? In the blink of an eye, they were thrown off their feet. Puff, puff, poof. The sound of blood spurting could be heard. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others were instantly knocked to the ground, each of them heavily injured. After all, this was the power of the Great Mountain Protection Array. They had been preparing to kill Yi Qianxian with a single strike. Now that the array formation had been broken, the energy was directed by Luo Qingtong and blasted towards them. Bang! Beast Tamer King Guguju's body fell heavily to the ground. Beside him, Elder and the others were also in a sorry state. Bastard! Chase after them! Elder and Beast Tamer King Guguju were so angry that their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets when they saw Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian's figures disappear into the air. Especially Elder who had been infiltrated into the mystic realm and peeked at the secrets of the holy book on the 13th floor. Not only that, the other party had left unscathed. How humiliating would this be if word got out? Chapter 1924. Beast Tamer King Guguju was so angry that blood spurted out of his mouth. He was the one who brought her in and personally brought her to the 12th floor of the scripture pavilion. If Luo Qingtong left so easily, how would he explain this to the people of Beast Tamer King's Valley? The other party had turned his Beast Tamer King's Valley upside down. If their Beast Tamer King's Valley allowed them to leave like this, if this spread out, it would be a huge joke. And because of this huge joke, he even crippled his own daughter and abandoned her like a pair of worn-out shoes. Beast Tamer King Guguju felt a burst of blood rush to his head. He, Dark Elder, and the others got up from the ground and wanted to chase outside. But how could they make it in time? With Yi Qianxian's strength, it was simply impossible for them to catch up. They couldn't even find any trace of the other party's departure. In an instant, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others were so angry that they stomped their feet. The entire Beast Tamer King's valley was filled with their harsh scolding and cursing. He was hysterical and furious. Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian had already left the Beast Tamer King's valley. Hearing the angry shouts from the depths of the mountain range, Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly. Then she looked at the man beside her and said, "Qianren, let's go." The man's voice was low and deep, and his eyes were light and doting. "Where to go back?" When Yi Qianxian said, "Go back," he naturally meant to go back to True Spill Continent. Luo Qingtong came to the hidden world in advance to investigate Luo Jinghong's news. Now that the news had been found, and there was still some time before the aura of the fallen immortal land weakened and opened, she naturally had to go back to True Spill Continent first. After all, Su Yu and the others were still there, and their strength had not been completely improved. Luo Qingtong also had to go back and refine the power of the immortal jade bone for them to continue to improve their strength. When the fallen immortal land opened, she could take them with her. Yes, of course. Luo Qingtong nodded. However, as she spoke, the corners of her lips suddenly curled up. Before I go back, there is one more thing I need to do. Did the Beast Taming King's Valley think that today's matter is over? What a joke. He still had a big favor that he needed their help with. Please don't decline. Of course, it was useless for them to refuse. As she thought about it, the the smile on Luo Qingtong's lips was indescribably evil. Yi Qianxian raised his eyebrows when he saw the smile on her face. What is it? He looked at the girl. He had never been able to guess what this woman was thinking. What else did she want to do? You'll know when the time comes. Luo Qingtong caught a glimpse of his gaze and smiled wickedly. She then put her arms around his neck and said with a smile, "Okay, let's go. Go." As she said this, the corners of her lips curled up. Celestial, extreme, palace. Hearing Luo Qingtong's words, Yi Qianxian raised his eyebrows in surprise. However, he didn't say anything. He directly held Luo Qingtong's slender waist, raised his hand, and shook his sleeve. Then he disappeared with Luo Qingtong. No matter what this woman wanted to do, he would support her. No matter the reason, there was no need to ask for the reason. Shua. The two figures disappeared. Hidden World, Celestial Palace. Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian stood not far away. Chapter 1925. Qianren, wait for me here. I'll be back in a jiffy, she said to the man beside her. Yi Qianxian looked at her and raised his eyebrows. You don't need me to go with you? Celestial Palace wasn't weak. It was a third-class sect, and one of the best among them. It was said that the master of Celestial Palace had the potential to reach the Holy Spirit realm. When that time came, Celestial Palace would be promoted to a second-class sect. There were quite a number of Saint Emperors among them. Luo Qingtong was only a holy lord. Although Xue Tong was powerful, she was going to the enemy's lair this time. Yi Qianxian was a little worried. It's fine. They won't dare to touch me. Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly. She didn't come here as Luo Qingtong. She came as knight. As for her purpose, it wasn't to destroy Celestial Palace, so there was no need to worry. Okay. Yi Qianxian looked at her and nodded. He narrowed his eyes slightly. He wasn't the kind of person who would restrict his woman. Since Luo Qingtong said it was fine, then he would let her grow. He always knew that when he wasn't by her side, she did better than anyone else. Luo Qingtong looked at him and suddenly smiled. Then she hooked her arms around his neck and kissed him on the lips. Don't worry. I'll be fine. Wait for me to come back. As she spoke, she smiled and stuck out her tongue to hook his lips. Then she turned and left. This woman. Yi Qianxian's face darkened as he watched Luo Qingtong leave. However, when he raised his hand to caress the mark left by the woman on his lips, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Wait for her to come back? He quite liked this feeling. Celestial Palace, Conference Hall. At this moment, a group of Celestial Palace elders gathered together and bowed to the man standing in front of them with his hands behind his back. Palace Master. The Celestial Palace Master looked to be no more than 50 years old. The aura around him was biting cold, and his eyes were cold. At this moment, his eyes were cold as he looked at the group of Celestial Palace elders below and said, "Haven't you found out yet? Who is trying to harm the Celestial Palace?" As he spoke, he heavily patted a certain dragon head ornament beside him. In an instant, bang! Under the fury of the Celestial Zenith Palace Master, that dragon head ornament was smashed into smithereens and exploded with a loud bang. The Master of Celestial Palace was furious. Not too long ago, the beast tamer King Guguju's daughter, Fang Jingyu, celebrated her birthday. As a result, during the birthday party, it was revealed that the people of Celestial Palace had colluded with the apprentices of Beast Tamer King's Valley to attack the Great Elder's superior Sirius. The purpose was to destroy the evidence and hide the fact that they had killed the Great Elder's grandson, the direct disciple of Beast Tamer King Guguju. When the Celestial Palace Master received the letter sent by the people of Beast Tamer King's Valley, he was in a bad mood. Killing a core disciple of Beast Tamer King's Valley. It was not like there was something wrong with their brains. A third-class sect clashed with a first-class sect. However, the people of Beast Tamer King's Valley spoke eloquently, and even said that they had Celestial Palace's keepsake as proof. They wanted the people of Celestial Palace to give an explanation. Otherwise, they would personally come to ask for an explanation. The master of Celestial Palace cursed in his heart. Recently, he had been investigating this matter in order to find out who was trying to harm them behind the scenes. Who was so vicious? They could even find the secret keepsake of Celestial Palace. Don't let him find out who it was. Chapter 1926. The eyes of the Celestial Palace's master were unusually cold. At this moment, one of the Celestial Palace elders hesitantly said, "Perhaps this isn't an ordinary trap. Palace Master, the people of Beast-Taming King's Valley may have the intention to attack us." He said, "What do you mean by that?" The Celestial Palace Master looked at him coldly, his brows tightly knitted together. The people of Beast-Taming King's Valley deliberately attacked them? You mean to say that the people of Beast-Taming King's Valley deliberately arranged this at the birthday banquet in order to have a reason to attack us of Celestial Palace? The Celestial Palace Master said, his brows tightly knitted together. What good would this do them? Beast-Taming King's Valley was a first-rate sect among first-rate sects. Even the first-rate sects of the hidden world had to give them some face. After all, the beast-taming ability of Beast-Taming King's Valley was extremely powerful. Provoking them was equivalent to provoking 2 or even 3 first-rate sections. Under such circumstances, who would go against the people of Beast-Taming King's Valley? At the same time, why would the people of Beast-Taming King's Valley go against a third-rate sect for no reason? Even a second-rate sect didn't have the qualifications to be looked at by them. The Celestial Palace Master didn't quite understand the meaning of this Celestial Palace Elder. It's like this. The Celestial Palace Elder frowned and said, "Palace Master, the token you mentioned, we've found out." As he spoke, he glanced at the Empyrean Palace Master and continued, "If we didn't investigate wrongly, the origin of the token should be from one of the 3 guardians who were ordered to investigate that matter." The moment these words came out, the Celestial Palace Master's expression suddenly froze. "What you're saying is, that's right, Palace Master. We suspect that the 3 protectors have been killed, and the people who did it were from Beast-Taming King's Valley." The Celestial Palace Elder said worriedly. The 3 protectors were all Saint Kings, and one of them was even a peak Saint King. In the true Spill continent, in such a backward and secular land, how could there possibly be someone who could endanger their safety? The only possibility was that someone from the Beast-Taming King's Valley had killed them and taken away their tokens. He had deliberately set up a trap during the birthday banquet to make it easier for him to attack the people of Celestial Palace. As for why the other party did this, Palace Master, don't forget what the 3 guardians were investigating. The Celestial Palace Elder reminded him softly. Hearing this, the Celestial Palace Master was shocked. Then, his expression became incomparably ugly. Of course, he wouldn't forget what the 3 protectors were investigating. Before this, Elder Xie had obtained a secret order to bring information about the map to True Spill continent. After that, he mysteriously disappeared. He had sent out 3 core disciples who were slightly stronger to investigate, but those people had been killed by the people of the Breeze Pavilion. Although he didn't know the reason for this, whether it was because of a conflict or something else, he still sent the 3 protectors to follow the people from the Breeze Pavilion to see if they could find any clues. So now those 3 people had been killed? Not only that, but the things they had were also used by the people from Beast-Taming King's Valley to slander them? If this was the case, then the purpose of the people from Beast-Taming King's Valley was obvious. Their goal is the map of the fallen immortal land? And it was possible that they had already succeeded. Thinking of this, the Celestial Palace Master's expression became extremely ugly. Chapter 1927. Bang! Luo Qingtong's figure appeared at the entrance of Celestial Palace. A Celestial Palace disciple stepped forward and was about to speak when Luo Qingtong kicked him. Bang! The Celestial Palace disciple's figure instantly slammed into the door and slid through the entrance. Junior brother! The Celestial Palace disciples near the entrance were instantly enraged and rushed towards Luo Qingtong. Surround her! How dare you cause trouble in Celestial Palace? How dare you? A group of people rushed towards Luo Qingtong aggressively. Seeing the Celestial Palace disciples rushing over, Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and said, "Tell your palace master to come out. Just say, the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley are here on orders." As Luo Qingtong's voice rang out, the Celestial Palace disciples rushing towards Luo Qingtong instantly stopped. You're a disciple of beast-taming King's Valley." The group of people looked at Luo Qingtong in surprise and then asked, "What proof do you have?" "Even if I have proof, do you deserve to see it?" Luo Qingtong looked at them with disdain. "Tell your palace master to come out himself." Hearing this, the Celestial Palace disciples gritted their teeth but did not dare to delay. They hurriedly sent people to inform the Celestial Palace master and the others. The latter and the others were discussing this matter in the conference hall and were shocked when they heard this. "Let's go and see." The Celestial Palace master's expression was very serious. If the people of beast-taming King's Valley really did get the treasure map, they would definitely attack them in order to keep it a secret. But what if they guessed wrong? The Celestial Palace master felt that before the matter was confirmed, it was better to act prudently. The group of people walked outside. Soon, they appeared in front of Luo Qingtong. "Which disciple of beast-taming King's Valley are you?" The Celestial Palace master looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "But..." Luo Qingtong's lips curled up. The matter of her falling out with the beast-taming King's Valley hadn't been exposed yet. In the eyes of outsiders, Luo Qingtong was still a disciple of the beast-taming King's Valley. Moreover, she was a disciple that was highly valued by the beast-taming King Guguju. Most of the sects in the hidden world knew about what happened at the birthday banquet. "It's you?" The Celestial Palace master was furious. Luo Qingtong was the one who stood out during the birthday banquet and exposed them for colluding with the beast-taming King's Valley's apprentice disciple. Although Luo Qingtong was most likely following orders. However, since she was the one who did it, the master of Celestial Palace naturally did not treat her kindly. "I don't know what you're here for." He looked coldly at Luo Qingtong. "Naturally, I'm here to deliver an order on behalf of our sect." Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly. She looked at the Celestial Palace master and the others, then raised her hand and threw a package in her hand over. "The Valley Master asked me to come and return this to you. In addition..." Luo Qingtong's lips curled up. "Our Valley Master said to take care of yourselves. Don't wait for us to make a move. As for what it is..." She looked up at the Celestial Palace master and the others, smiled calmly and said, "I believe that you will understand." After Luo Qingtong finished speaking, the faces of the Celestial Palace master and the others instantly darkened. "Take care of yourselves? Don't wait for them to make a move? Do you understand what I mean?" The more they thought about it, the more uncertain it was. At this moment, a Celestial Palace elder saw something. Something rolled out from the package that Luo Qingtong threw out. Chapter 1928. This is... The Celestial Palace elder's expression was extremely ugly, not for anything else, but the things in the package that Luo Qingtong threw out were all left behind by the 3 Celestial Palace protectors. Luo Qingtong had left behind some symbolic things in case of an emergency, but now they came in handy. She brought these things to Celestial Palace in order to thoroughly confirm the conflict between Celestial Palace and beast-taming King's Valley. Luo Qingtong knew that she and the people of beast-taming King's Valley had a falling out. They would never believe her previous accusation against Celestial Palace, so they would inevitably continue to look for the culprit. For that superior Sirius flower, if Grand Elder was able to cultivate one, he would be able to cultivate another one. Previously, she used the people of Celestial Palace to divert the attention of the Supreme Elder and the others, making them think that they already knew the culprit and didn't need to continue investigating. But now, her identity had been exposed, so the Supreme Elder might continue to investigate. At that time, the true Spill Continent would be exposed, and Celestial Palace would no longer be threatened by beast-taming King's Valley, so they wouldn't link the map of the land of the deceased immortals to beast-taming King's Valley. At that time, if they continued to investigate, they would inevitably find her. How could Luo Qingtong let them do that? Naturally, she wanted to thoroughly confirm the conflict between them and let them bite each other. Beast taming King's Valley's route was no longer feasible, so couldn't she go to Celestial Palace? Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly. As long as the people of Celestial Palace were sure that the people of Beast Taming King's Valley were going to attack them because of the map of the land of the deceased immortals, it would be useless no matter what the people of Beast Taming King's Valley said. Who asked them to make things difficult for the Celestial Palace after the birthday banquet? When the Celestial Palace retaliated, no one would believe that the Beast Taming King's Valley would reveal that they weren't disciples of the Beast Taming King's Valley and were actually spies. At least, the people of Celestial Palace wouldn't believe it. That was why Luo Qingtong told Yi Qianxian to come to the Celestial Palace as soon as he left the Beast Taming King's Valley. He wanted to deliver a gift to the people of Celestial Palace before that. At the same time, it was to give the Beast Taming King's Valley a gift. Luo Qingtong's smile became more and more enchanting. She looked at the angry faces of the Celestial Palace people in front of her. Suddenly, she leaped into the air and said, "That's all I have to say. You Celestial Palace people can decide for yourselves. However, I advise you to be tactful and end it yourselves. From now on, there will be no more Celestial Palace in the hidden world. Otherwise, when the Beast Taming King's Valley makes a move, you will know what it means to be truly regretful." Luo Qingtong really took the matter of the Beast Taming King's Valley to the extreme. Her words were full of disdain and arrogance. The Celestial Palace Master looked at her incomparably arrogant appearance and then looked at the Celestial Palace Protector's things that she threw on the ground. He was so angry that he clenched his teeth. Bastard! The people of Beast Taming King's Valley are really too much. Not only did he snatch away the secret of the land of the deceased immortals that the Celestial Palace had racked their brains to obtain, but he also deliberately made them the scapegoat during the birthday banquet for the sake of attacking the Celestial Palace's people. That was fine, but now, because of this matter, they actually wanted the people of Celestial Palace to end their own lives. Chapter 1929. This really touched the bottom line of the Celestial Palace Master. Their ancestors had painstakingly established the Supreme Celestial Palace, and with great difficulty, they had managed to develop it into a third-rate sect in the hidden world. The people of Beast Taming King's Valley crippled them, and even wanted them to end their own lives. This was simply intolerable. Moreover, they were the first to discover the map of the fallen immortal land. The people of Beast Taming King's Valley intercepted them halfway and snatched the map of the fallen immortal land that they wanted. Now, he actually wanted to attack them. Did they really think that the Celestial Palace was easy to bully, and that the people of Beast Taming King's Valley were already invincible in the hidden world? The Celestial Palace Master was so angry that blood rushed to his head. He looked at Luo Qingtong's back as she left, and then coldly said, "You guys look after the sect. I'll immediately go to the Star Alliance Hall." The people of Beast Taming King's Valley didn't let him off easily, and he also didn't let them off easily. If they want to touch the Celestial Palace, then let the people of Beast Taming King's Valley come. At worst, they'll fight to the death. Also, spread the news about this map in the hidden world. The people of Beast Taming King's Valley thought that the people of Celestial Palace didn't dare to resist, and wanted to eat it alone. He'll see if they can eat it in the end. The Celestial Palace Master angrily left. At this time, Luo Qingtong had already returned to Yi Qianxian's side. "How was it?" She looked at the man standing under the tree with a smile, and said, "I said I'll be back soon, right?" She slightly narrowed her pair of crescent moon-like eyes and looked at Yi Qianxian. "Yes." The man turned around and glanced at her. "You'll be back soon." He stood there, but he heard a lot of movements in the Celestial Palace. This woman's movements weren't small when she went in, but now she came out unscathed. Yi Qianxian looked deeply at Luo Qingtong. "What are you doing? Why are you looking at me like that?" Luo Qingtong looked into his deep eyes and raised her eyebrows slightly. "Could it be that you want me to reward you for being obedient?" As she spoke, her gaze swept past him with a snicker and meaningfully circled around him 2 or 3 times. Finally, she stopped at the man's thin and sexy lips. She licked her lips slightly and thought of the kiss when she left. She still wanted to continue. Yi Qianxian looked at her meaningful gaze, then suddenly strode over to where she was. His long hair fluttered and his long sleeves danced. He walked up to her and then lowered his head slightly to look at the young girl standing in front of him. In front of him, the latter never knew what restraint and modesty were, however, he liked it very much. If you want to scheme against me, you can tell me directly. You don't have to be so secretive. I'm happy to fulfill your wish. As Yi Qianxian spoke, he lowered his head and kissed Luo Qingtong's lips. The young girl's lips were soft and there seemed to be a fragrance in the kiss, causing Yi Qianxian to be intoxicated. He bent down to kiss her, but Luo Qingtong chuckled and kissed him back. Shouldn't I be the one saying that? If you want a reward, just say it. I won't laugh at you. Ha! Luo Qingtong's laughter was finally swallowed by Yi Qianxian's mouth. The two of them were lovey-dovey under the tree. In the distance, the sun was setting in the west. Everything was beautiful in front of them. Chapter 1930. Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian didn't immediately leave the hidden world. Instead, they settled down in a city on the edge of the hidden world. This city was located in a barren land near the edge of the hidden world. Generally speaking, when one tore through space to reach the true Spill continent, they would pass through there. Bei Qing, Wind Feather, and the others, when Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian left the beast-taming King Valley, they sensed the changes in the beast-taming King Valley. Following Yi Qianxian's message, they rushed over to join them. At this moment, a group of people were eating in a restaurant, listening to the gossip and whispers of the people around them. Hey, have you guys heard? Something big happened in the center of the hidden world. At the next table, a cultivator said in a low voice. Yeah, we all heard about it. Is it the matter between the beast-taming King Valley and the Celestial Palace? The people next to them all followed and expressed their opinions. Yes, it's that matter. The martial artist said, I heard that it's a big mess. The people of the Celestial Palace said that the people of the beast-taming King Valley deliberately slandered them and wanted to attack them. For this reason, they specially invited the people of the Star Alliance to support them. Yet, another martial artist said, I heard that it was because the people of the beast-taming King Valley obtained a map of the Graveyard of Immortals. And the news of this map was obtained by the people of the Celestial Palace first. The people of the beast-taming King Valley forcibly snatched it and killed their people. Finally, they slandered the people of the Celestial Palace for attacking them at the birthday banquet of the Valley Master's daughter. They wanted to harm the beast-taming King Valley. The people of the Celestial Palace were not willing to be slandered, so they went to ask the people of the Star Alliance for help. For this reason, the matter of the map of the Graveyard of Immortals was exposed. But I heard that the people of the beast-taming King Valley refused to admit it. The martial artist said. They didn't just refuse to admit it. Another martial artist said. I heard that they directly announced to the public that Night Eye wasn't a member of the beast-taming King Valley, but a spy from the outside who deliberately attacked them. She's an enemy of the beast-taming King Valley. The martial artist said. He curled his lips. Who are they trying? This move of the beast-taming King Valley is too clumsy. Who doesn't know that Night Eye is the direct disciple of the beast-tamer King Valley's Valley Master? I heard that her talent is beasts. Because he even taught, is directly taught, he was directly teach, S's A's. And spill. SSS. S, vase and S sets, SSS immortals. Thems? Tian. This is so fake. That's right. S. No one believed the words of the people of the beast-taming King Valley. Of all the times to accuse someone of being a spy and an enemy, it had to be when the news of the treasure map was spread by the people of the Celestial Palace. No matter how you looked at it, it looked like they were deliberately trying to deny and distance themselves from the matter. While the group of people were discussing, Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian were eating, but the corners of their lips suddenly curled up. The people of the Celestial Palace and the people of the beast-taming King Valley were indeed arguing. Things were developing exactly as Luo Qingtong expected. Chapter 1931. When the beast-taming King's Valley announced their identity, it would only make people think that they were trying to hide the fact that they had the map of the Graveyard of Immortals. According to the news spread by the Celestial Palace, it was likely that all the first-rate sects had gone to look for the beast-taming King's Valley. It was unknown how badly battered the beast-taming King Guguju and the rest were right now. In fact, the beast-taming King Guguju and the rest were indeed about to go crazy. They had just finished dealing with the aftermath of Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian's departure at the secret location behind the beast-taming King's Valley. Afterwards, they were preparing to issue a warrant to the outside world to track down the whereabouts of Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian. However, before they could do anything, the Celestial Palace had already launched an attack. When they found out that it was because of Luo Qingtong's trip to the Celestial Palace that caused this series of events, they almost fainted from anger. Bitch, this bitch. The beast-taming King Guguju was so angry that he couldn't breathe. Luo Qingtong had ruined the secret location of the beast-taming King's Valley and peeped at their secrets for so many years. Wasn't that enough? She had even made the beast-taming King's Valley carry such a huge pot of blame. The beast-taming King Guguju didn't know that the attack on the Celestial Palace was actually related to the treasure map of the Graveyard of Immortals. If he had known earlier, he would never have let Luo Qingtong go. He would have risked his life to make her stay. After all, there was no need to think about it. The deaths of the Celestial Palace people were definitely caused by Luo Qingtong. The treasure map must have fallen into her hands. However, no one would believe the words of the beast-taming King Guguju. Who would believe it? Your beast-taming King's Valley disciple was highly valued by you before. Oh, in the end, you said that everything was a scheme of hers. Your beast-taming King's Valley, which had always been arrogant and despotic, was fooled by a little girl. Not only did that person make a fool out of you, but he also made you carry a huge black pot on your backs. The crowd of first-rate sects looked at the beast-taming King Guguju and the others as if they were looking at a fool. Otherwise, it would mean that the beast-taming King Valley Master and the others were treating them like fools. The reason why the first-grade sects came was naturally because of the map. They hoped to cooperate with the beast-taming King's Valley. After all, the treasure map of Immortals was pointed to the location of Immortals. They Taming King's Valley's Valley would to obtain the treasure map Taming King's Valley's Valley would Valley's People's Valley to obtain some benefits. When the time comes, to obtain the treasure's Valley of Immortals, the Valley's Valleys sits its to have the best was to have's valleys. They's to the were to them to be to them's. Was they were beasts to be foes valley ims. The group of people immediately flicked their sleeves and left, not saying anything else. In any case, the people from beast-taming King Valley wouldn't go to the fallen immortal land unless they wanted to. Otherwise, wouldn't they be able to follow them? But at that time, they wouldn't be so easy to talk to. The group of people left angrily. The beast-tamer King Guguju was so angry that he trembled. That bitch. He gritted his teeth. Luo Qingtong's actions caused their beast-taming King Valley to offend the majority of the first-grade sects in the hidden world. After all, Su Yu and the others were still hunting the monsters at the bottom of the cliff. I wonder how much their strength has improved. But according to Luo Qingtong's estimation, most of the monsters at the bottom of the cliff should have been killed by them. When Luo Qingtong returned, she could refine the remaining immortal jade bones for them. At that time, their strength would be able to rise to another level. Luo Qingtong's lips suddenly curled up as she thought of this. At this moment, southern domain, in the space at the bottom of the cliff. Su Yu and the others went deep into the space at the bottom of the cliff. They were very close to the place where Yi Qianxian had closed the passage. Moreover, the demon beasts that remained here were even stronger. Peng ping ping. Chapter 1933. With the increase in their strength, they were no longer limited to hunting ordinary monsters. The monsters they were hunting were all at the Saint Lord realm. It was the same as the Saint Lord realm monster that Luo Qingtong had killed before. This Saint Lord realm monster was also formed from the fusion of many monsters. It was powerful, its skin was as hard as iron, and its body was extremely huge. It was extremely fast, and it was unknown what kind of monster it had fused with. It was like a sky full of whip shadows that swept towards Su Yu, Su Xiaoxiao, and the others. The power of each attack was comparable to the full-strength attack of an ordinary Saint Lord realm expert. Su Yu, Su Xiaoxiao, and the others, as well as Tianxia's group, were very calm as they dealt with it. After working together for a long time, their movements seemed to be very coordinated. First column, raise your spears. Second column, get ready. Su Yu's voice rang out in an orderly manner. At the same time, she didn't stop attacking. The thunder beast beside her roared as it charged towards the mountain-like monster in front of it. The powerful impact and explosive force, as well as the power of lightning surrounding it, allowed it to firmly withstand the Saint Lord realm monster's attack. It didn't give the monster a chance to crush Su Yu, Tianxia, and the others' formation. Behind the Saint Lord realm monster, little Tyrant Yuan's muscles were bulging. His skin instantly turned into a cold and hard golden color, and he firmly cooperated with the Thunder Beast from behind to block the Saint Lord realm monster's body. They trapped the monster between them, making it easier for Su Yu and the others to attack. Bang bang bang. The blood vessels all over little Tyrant Yuan's body exploded one by one. His current strength had already reached the Saint Expert level. Under the power of the Soul Seal, his defense and attack power could reach the level of a beginner Saint Lord. However, compared to this Saint Lord realm monster, his strength was still a bit lacking. Fortunately, he wasn't fighting alone. Swish, swish. In the front, Su Xiaoxiao and the others formed a small team. Su Xiaoxiao's expression was solemn as her fingers danced. Streaks of light from the medicinal liquid were drawn out by her, forming streaks of half-black and half-white light in the air. Half of it was holy medicine, and the other half was poison. Medicine and poison in one. Su Xiaoxiao's alchemy skills had been refined by her for a long time. Coupled with her own strange alchemy talent, she had achieved a divine alchemy skill that ordinary people could not achieve. Shua. With a point of Su Xiaoxiao's finger, the black and white liquid turned into gas and entered Yuan Little Overlord, the Thunder Beast, and the Saint Lord monster's body. When these medicinal liquids entered the bodies of Yuan Little Overlord and the Thunder Beast, they turned into good medicine that could heal and enhance their strength. When they entered the Saint Lord realm monster's body, they turned into streams of corrosive liquid that rampaged through the monster's body. This caused the Saint Lord realm monster to let out a sharp cry of extreme pain, and its body became even more violent. Sima Ju, Ling Tianhan, Ling Yu, and the others were wandering around it at this time. Bind. The purple silk in Ling Yu's hand instantly bound the Saint Lord realm monster, while Ling Tianhan, Sima Ju, and the others rushed up at this time. Chapter 1934. At the same time, the heavenly diabolism also attacked. Boom boom boom. One attack after another landed on the Saint Marquis monster. Because of the suppression from the Lightning Beast and Yuan Little Tyrant, every attack landed on the monster's vitals. Roar! The Saint Overlord struggled violently and broke free from the pincer attack of the Lightning Beast and Yuan Little Overlord. Bang! The Lightning Beast and Yuan Little Tyrant were sent flying by the Saint Lord monster's violent struggle. The man and beast fell heavily to the ground. At this moment, Su Yu moved. Lightning strike. Su Yu's body was surrounded by an extremely powerful and terrible power of thunder and lightning. She suddenly raised her hand. In an instant, a huge sword formed by lightning, together with the attacks of Tianxia and the others, slammed into the Saint Marquis monster, causing it to howl and retreat. Roar! The Saint Marquis monster struggled in its death throes. Its countless tails retracted and stabbed towards Su Yu viciously. At this moment, the sound of a zither rang out. Mountains have trees and trees have branches. My heart pleases my Lord, but he does not know. The melancholy song mixed with the sound of the zither and waves of sound waves spread out. Images of green bamboos, trees, and blooming peach blossoms appeared in midair. Then bang! All of a sudden, the images exploded. The green bamboos, trees, and peach blossoms all turned into murderous intents that rushed toward the Saint Marquis monster. Su Xiao Xiao, Su Yu Ling Tianhan, Sima Ju, and the Heavenly Diabolism group also attacked at this moment. Boom boom boom. The Saint Lord monster was completely engulfed by the barrage of attacks. In an instant, a shrill and mournful voice rang out. The Saint Lord monster fell to the ground and didn't get up again. Done. Ling Yu jumped onto the Saint Overlord monster and dug out the huge Saint Overlord immortal jade bone from its broken flesh. It's so big. It's enough for us to split, she cried out. The immortal jade bone clearly hadn't been completely merged. It was like a huge rock and was as big as 10 of Ling Yu's heads. Although it wasn't as pure and powerful as the immortal jade bone Luo Qingtong had, it was huge. Who knew how many monsters this Saint Lord monster had devoured to form this immortal jade bone? The Heavenly Diabolism group was very happy to see this immortal jade bone. Even if they could only get a small piece of this immortal jade bone, it was enough to raise their strength to another level. Of course, they had to wait for Luo Qingtong to refine it. Sigh, the monsters at the bottom of the cliff should have been cleared. This is most likely the last one. I wonder when boss will come back. Ling Yu said in a bored tone. Next to her, little tyrant Yuan got up while vomiting blood. Then, he said to her speechlessly, My lady, you can talk and jump, but can you not keep stepping on me? I'm seriously injured. He was already injured to this extent. Couldn't this woman be more careful? Chapter 1935. If it weren't for little tyrant Yuan's own vitality and the petrification soul imprint not being completely removed, his injuries would have definitely worsened. At that time, he might not have died at the hands of this Saint Lord Realm monster, but at her feet. Sorry, I didn't see. Ling Yu stuck out her tongue, only to find that little tyrant Yuan was pressed down not far from the Saint Lord Realm monster. She really didn't notice him down there. Little tyrant Yuan was silently swallowing his tears, feeling that his presence was unusually low. A low laugh instantly sounded from a place not far away. Then, Luo Qingtong's figure walked out of the thick black fog at the bottom of the cliff. Boss, master. Seeing Luo Qingtong's figure, little tyrant Yuan and the others instantly called out. Then, the group of people all surrounded Luo Qingtong in surprise. Boss, you're back. Little tyrant Yuan was jolted, and there was no trace of the serious injuries he said before. He rushed to Luo Qingtong and asked eagerly, Boss, how was it? Was the hidden world fun? Did anyone bully you? When he said this, his eyes were shining. Luo Qingtong was very suspicious. He actually wanted to ask if anyone bullied her, and then was tortured by her to the point of doubting life. The corner of her mouth twitched slightly. She didn't know if it was lucky or unlucky to have such a subordinate. These people were too eager to see the world in chaos, weren't they? It was fine. The corner of Luo Qingtong's mouth twitched. She didn't tell them that she had already gone against the number 1 sect in the hidden world, Beast Taming King Valley, and messed up their nest. In the end, she even schemed against them. She didn't know how the people from Beast Taming King Valley would go crazy. She looked at Su Yu and the others. How's your strength? Her eyes swept over Su Yu, Su Xiao Xiao and the others. When the latter and the others saw her gaze sweep over, they instantly straightened their backs and released their auras. Let Luo Qingtong examine their strength. After Luo Qingtong left, they had been desperately trying to improve their strength. After absorbing the purified immortal jade bones, they began to temper their combat abilities. In front of Luo Qingtong, he was very confident. Boss, I'm already a mid-level saint expert. Yuan little tyrant raised his head proudly. Meanwhile, behind him, Sima Ju opened his mouth and spat out a few words, Peak's sacred expert realm, High-level Saint Master, Ling Tianhan said. Mid-level Sacred Expert Realm. Ling Yu said with a smile. Boss, am I especially powerful? Chu Wenhao, Ling Tianchen, and the others also reported their strength. Meanwhile, Su Xiaoxiao's face was a bit embarrassed, saying with a bit of embarrassment, just entered the Sacred Expert Realm. In the team, her strength was the weakest. Su Xiaoxiao felt like she was about to cry. Su Yu and the others didn't say anything. There were too many people on their side. If all of them spoke, it would be very messy. It was better to let the master see it herself. Luo Qingtong's gaze swept over them and found that most of their strength was around the high-level Saint Realm. There were only a few low-level Saint Realm experts. Immediately, they were very satisfied. The people of Heavenly Diabolism's hunting speed wasn't as fast as Su Xiaoxiao's team, so they got more immortal jade bones. With their current strength, it was already very good. Su Yu's strength was the strongest. Chapter 1936. Because of this, she also received more immortal jade bones, and her strength naturally increased faster than others. Her current strength was already very close to the level of Saint General. Very good. Luo Qingtong looked at them and slightly curled her lips. Su Yu and the others did not disappoint her. Their current strength was already very good. There was still a period of time left, enough for their strength to increase a little more. At that time, they would be able to go with her to the land of the fallen immortals in the hidden world. Hee hee. Little Tyrant Yuan laughed proudly. Of course, don't you see who we are under? He raised his hand and patted his chest hard. He instantly patted his wound and couldn't help but cough violently. Sima Ju and the others looked at him speechlessly. This guy was really too good at flattering, right? Could it be that his usual recklessness and thoughtlessness were all in act? Damn, he was too sinister. Luo Qingtong looked at him with a smile that was not a smile. Take this. She threw a pill to little Tyrant Yuan. The other party was injured by that Saint Lord Realm monster. Ordinary medicinal liquid could temporarily heal it, but it could not cure the root of the problem. The internal injury was still there, and it would definitely become a hidden danger to the body in the future. He had to take the pill. This was also the reason why alchemists were so sought after. After reaching a certain level, the medicinal liquid would not be of much use. Luo Qingtong also threw one to Su Yu and let her feed it to the Thunder Beast. The latter had already shrunk in size and was held in Su Yu's arms. At this moment, it was looking at Luo Qingtong with a pair of big eyes. Its nose was constantly twitching, and it was unknown what it was sniffing. It looked at Luo Qingtong with a puzzled gaze. Its nose is quite sharp. Luo Qingtong knew that it most likely smelled the fragrance of the superior Sirius flower that it had come into contact with before. It seemed that not only the superior Sirius flower could sense the Thunder Beast, but the Thunder Beast that was trapped by the purple jade mind fruit could also sense the superior Sirius flower. Fortunately, she was the one who destroyed the superior Sirius. Otherwise, if the people from the beast-taming King's Valley were to find this place, the lightning beast would probably come looking for it after smelling the fragrance. At that time, Su Yu and the others would definitely be exposed. The deaths of Han Dong and the others could no longer be hidden. Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows. At this moment, a voice sounded. Master! One of them appeared in front of Luo Qingtong, holding a zither. Luo Qingtong's eyes lit up when she saw her. Yenyang, your strength. The person who appeared in front of Luo Qingtong was surprisingly Hu Yenyang. Her current strength had already surpassed the Saint Realm. Although he was much weaker than Su Yu and the others. However, when he thought about how she had only started to recover not long ago and was able to cultivate, he thought about it. Her strength had improved at a godly speed. Of course, this was also because of the wood spirit heart that Luo Qingtong had left for her. Otherwise, Yenyang's strength would not have been able to rise to such a high level. Even if she had the foundation of cultivation from more than 10 years ago, it was still the same. Yes, my strength has already surpassed the Saint Realm. Hu Yenyang smiled at Luo Qingtong as she hugged her zither. Not only that, because her soul imprint was special, She had awakened a sound wave soul imprint. Hu Yenyang's control of sound waves had greatly increased, and she had already become a soul sound master. All the sounds in the world, including the zither and her own voice. She could stack attacks in her hands. Chapter 1937. When they killed the Saint Lord monster, it was Hu Yenyang who used the sound wave technique to confuse the Saint Lord monster. Then they joined forces with Su Yu and the others to kill it. Otherwise, the Saint Lord monster would have struggled for a long time. During this time, it was likely to cause casualties to the heavenly diabolism. Ha! Luo Qingtong looked at her and laughed, asking, "How is it? Do you feel strong?" "Very good." Hu Yenyang's lips curved up. She stroked the zither in her hand and slightly squeezed it. Before she met Luo Qingtong, no, it should be said that before Luo Qingtong helped her recuperate, she never thought that she would be able to cultivate one day. Moreover, she had awakened such a powerful sound wave spirit seal. All her glory and strength belonged to her master. With strength, it meant that if she met the man who took Feng away in the future, she would be able to find a way to take him back. Her son was brought up by her single-handedly. Even if he was that man's son, with his blood flowing in his body, he was still Yen Yang's son. No one could snatch him away from her. "Master, thank you." She bowed deeply to Luo Qingtong. "Don't say this." Luo Qingtong smiled and said, "Just take care of some things for me in the future." Luo Qingtong looked at Hu Yenyang and was very happy in her heart. Hu Yenyang's strength increasing was also something she had always hoped for. After all, the people around her were not material to be in charge of forces. The only one who could manage forces for her and not let her worry was Hu Yenyang. But she could not stay in the true Spill continent forever. She had to go to the outer realms. This had nothing to do with Yi Qianxian's identity or the disappearance of the original owner's parents. But Luo Qingtong herself was not willing to stay in a corner. She wanted to go out and see more people and live a more exciting life. Then, Yen Yang and the others must follow her footsteps. Before this, Luo Qingtong had been quite worried. If Yen Yang couldn't cultivate, then how would she leave True Spill continent with her? If he left her in the True Spill continent, that would be far too much of a waste. What a waste of her excellent management skills. Now, everything has been settled. Not only was Yen Yang not weak, she was also a rare soul sound master. Even among soul masters, they were extremely powerful. Luo Qingtong's worries disappeared. In the future, he could bring her with him to the outer realms. Hu Yenyang smiled and nodded at Luo Qingtong. That's what Yenyang should do. Luo Qingtong saved her life, helped her family, and helped her recover her identity as a cultivator. No matter how strong Hu Yenyang would become in the future, she would only be Luo Qingtong's #1 housekeeper. Heavenly Diabolism's steward Yen. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. She nodded at them and said, "All right, all of you return to Imperial City. I will purify the remaining immortal jade bones for you. Continue to improve your strength. After a while, the aura of the fallen immortal land will weaken. I will take you there to train and level up. In the future, you will leave True Spill continent with me and go to the outer realms." Luo Qingtong's voice sounded. Instantly, Yuan Little Overlord and the others responded in unison. "Master Tus." Everyone's voices were very loud. Then, they rushed towards Imperial City with expectant faces. Chapter 1938. Yu Si Huang was looking at a certain man in front of him. The veins on his forehead were popping out. "You damn transvestite, that's enough. Imperial Emperor Sect Master, how can you say that about this servant? It's really too sad." Opposite Yu Si Huang, Zuofei was wearing a red muslin robe. His face had a charming and enchanting expression. That gorgeous face was even more enchanting than Yu Si Huang. At this moment, he was waving the feather fan in his hand. On the other hand, he raised his orchid finger and instructed the people around him. "Remember, Imperial Emperor Sect Master insulted this servant today. You're forbidden from approaching the demonic doctor for a day." The veins on Yu Sihuang's forehead popped out. I'm telling you, you damned transvestite, don't go too far. So what if I insulted you? Why should I be recorded once? Yu Sihuang's entire person was about to explode. When Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian left, he was in seclusion and didn't know. When he came out of seclusion, Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian had already left. Zuofei was sent over from the Black Field to look after Su Yu and the others. This was to prevent another attack from the Breeze Pavilion. At first, Yu Sihuang didn't feel anything. Later, he realized something was wrong. This damned transvestite followed him 24 hours a day. Every day, he scolded Yi Qianxian several times and mentioned Tong Tong several times. He remembered it all clearly. He even had someone make a small book. He said that he would wait for Yi Qianxian to come back and show it to him. At that time, every time he was recorded, he wouldn't be able to get close to Luo Qingtong for a day. Yu Sihuang's mood after knowing this could only be described as, I don't know if I should say MP in my heart. This damn transvestite. Yu Sihuang seriously suspected that he was deliberately left behind by Yi Qianxian to disgust him. At the same time, he stopped him from getting close to Luo Qingtong. That bastard was so sinister and cunning. He was really too hateful. Yu Sihuang glared at Zuofei. The latter gently waved the feather fan in her hand and looked at him with a pair of charming eyes. She said in an indescribably charming and enchanting manner, Who asked this servant to be master's woman? As the saying goes, if the Lord is humiliated, the subject shall die. If the subject is humiliated, the master shall be punished. Imperial Emperor sect leader, you insulted this servant, so naturally, you are scolding your master. What's wrong with me counting you once? As he spoke, he lifted his fan to cover his lips and chuckled. After all, who asked you to owe my master a favor? Don't you agree? Bei Qing and Feng Yu, those two pigs. Zuofei snorted inwardly. His master had such a big love rival, yet he didn't even know how to help him settle it. What the hell was he doing? As expected, he still had to make a move. Otherwise, what if the evil doctor was bewitched and left? One had to know that it was rare for master to be tempted. It was possible that this would be the only time. He naturally had to protect the mistress on behalf of his master and prevent anyone from touching her. Zuofei's words angered Yu Sihuang. According to what he said, wouldn't he never be able to get close to Luo Qingtong in this lifetime? This bastard was too much. Yu Sihuang was so angry that he wanted to hit someone. At this moment, the sound of our Imperial Emperor sect disciple rushing in to report suddenly came from outside. Sect leader, the evil doctor and the others are back. Following this sound, Yu Sihuang's figure instantly disappeared in midair. Tong Tong. Imperial Emperor City, the place where Su Yu and the others were temporarily staying. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.